Thanks for staying with us here on TVC Breakfast. It's now time to take a peek into what the papers are reporting this morning. And I'm doing this with my colleagues, Veronica and Etoma. Right, so let's get right into what the papers are saying. The first with me is the Nation newspaper with the banner headline, Rivers Emergency Declaration, Okweolo faults Jonathan. And the riders read, decision proactive, necessary, says Governor Minister Fubara at church service. Above the masthead, Adeleke threatens to depose Obas of Warren, Ilobu, Ifon communities. Sale of crude in Naira extension likely as committee meets. IG warns policemen against unlawful detention. Natasha's conduct vindicates Yahaya Bello, says Kogi senator. On the bottom strip, Indian woman held at airport with 72 parcels of heroin in chocolate wraps. Interesting development, Veronica. Rivers Emergency Declaration, Okweolo and Jonathan have been, they've had forth and back, even with the Nobel laureate, Wole Soyinka, also chiding the federal government for making that declaration. But it looks like Rivers will always be on our tongues, for the time being.
Absolutely. Rivers will always be on our tongues because with what is going on, the decision of the president to ensure that there is some form of stability, be it security-wise and all of it, that decision did not sit well with the majority of persons, and that is why we're still seeing people talk about it, even though Goodluck Jonathan also made a declaration of a state of emergency while he was in office at some point. But then with what is going on in Rivers State, despite the declaration, we still saw a pipeline, what happened yesterday, and we do not know if it was sabotage or something happened. We do not know the details yet, but will this state of emergency ensure that there is stability, knowing how critical Rivers State is to the country? There's so much interest there, and the people of the states also are trying to be vocal with regards to what they want. So how do we strike a balance to whatever it is the president wants to achieve? There is going to be the next thing. So we do not know how the president will be able to rally around everybody to that table where we can see things from the same point of view. But for me, the people of the state are critical in whatever decision we are making.
So, Toma, whoever is going to be doing this rally round, he bought he's there, and then he's saying that he's going to work with all of them, including traditional rulers, the warring parties, so that the state will be at peace at the end of the day. And we also saw suspended Fubara at church yesterday. Yes,
all your concerns is the reason why Eboete was appointed in the first place. Let me give you a little bit of a rundown. I know a lot of us know this. Eboete is a trained conciliator. He is a military man that rose from the rank to the very highest rank in the Navy. He had taken care of so many departments in the Navy. And he also was identified as somebody that comes and builds. So they give him a new department, he builds it, and then they push him to the next one, he builds
so
it.
He has a very large department to work with now.
Yeah, now he has a whole state to work with. And as a trained conciliator, as somebody that has settled things like this before now with armed groups and all that, I think he's in a very good position
to walk in the park. But people will tell you that these people have their peculiarities. We all know Rivers State, for instance, of course. So they have their peculiarities. If it will be a walk in the park, it's left to be seen. Because what happened yesterday, I am not sure if that's a statement being made.
Well, Oshomole Okay's highway tolling at kickoff of 125 kilometers Benin Asaba Road, and the Pope is back at Vatican. People has been, away on, 2 different medical issues, and it's good that he's back. He also addressed the congregation yesterday. Israel protests Gaza bombings. We just hope that the Palestinians and also Israelis are happy resolving this issue. Next is Nigeria News Direct. Presidency fires back at Jonathan. Soyinka over comments on Rivers emergency rule. Insists President Tinubu acted within constitutional power. Serap takes legal action. Sues Tinubu over suspension of Fubara. Deputy lawmakers say suspension violates Nigerian constitution, international law, etc. Osun local government crisis knocks Qdos trail Norgay faction's resumption. Lagos is not smelling 15,000 street sweepers deployed daily, and we often see them. So we do not know whether it includes them washing the roads.
The gutters.
The gutters. The gutters. So this is in reaction to the young core member who raised that
perhaps our community.
Right.
The environment, she's staying, that place is not being maintained and all of that, and that is why she said that Lagos, she generalized that Lagos is smelling, but sometimes you need to be specific for us to know where exactly you're talking about, because we know that Lagos State, amongst other states, have been making so much effort at ensuring that Lagos is clean as much as possible. Yes, there is still room for improvement. Sometimes you still see the deaths on the road and all of it. In fact, we as a people, some persons were arrested, if you recall, for disposing deaths on the road and all of that. So government may be making their effort, but how about the people complementing government's
That's the key, because we don't expect Governor Sanwo-Olu to grab a broom or what's it called, mop, and start cleaning the entire street.
Yeah,
it behoves
it's
us
our
to
responsibility.
do that. That's right. I know you do not like to. You often do not like to talk about this, but you're going to talk about it. Court grants order to permit recall process against Senator Natasha. Natasha seems to be, winking, back home, but we do not know how this is going to be, because it takes like 5 different steps for a senator to be recalled. The closest we had was Dino Melaye, and that's about 180 constituents. They could not even get up to 5%, but we do not know how far this is going to go.
It's the exercise did not start well. It started with telling the people, come, let me give you empowerment. And then you have to show me your voter's card, sign here and all that. And some of the people saw through the scam, And now, for the thing to go ahead, they have to start a process that the people will trust from the get-go. How possible is that? How possible is that? That's number one. So even if they are doing the right thing, I believe people will lose faith in the process.
Let's get to Tribune newspaper. The screaming headline here is 2027 hurdles mount as coalition leaders move to unveil mega party. Failures to agree on rallying point, a big mistake. As according to source, Mark Saraki adopts Sidon de Luke approach, Veronica. I think it was the former president that said, I adopted Sidon Luke. That's the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo.
Perhaps they are borrowing a leaf from what the APC did some years ago. I think that was 2014, 2015, 2014 into
2014-15.
And so it was a marriage of strange bedfellows, as some would call it. And then at the end of the day, we saw what happened, but they won the election at the end of the day. It was all politics, as you say, is all about interest.
That's right.
How these people who have varying interests will be able to hold and own their own and ensure they wrestle power from the incumbent administration is left to be seen, because there's so much that has to be done beyond you just talking on social media and across the newspapers. You have to do the groundwork. Are they willing to do that groundwork?
So we have Atiku, we have Erufai, we have Peter Obi, we have, mention all of them. Looks like it's one thing for them to form a mega party. It's another thing for them to agree who takes what. And that's where
the challenge
the belief is that the birth of APC started that way. And look at where APC is right now, And when the merger was done, we had this kind of rhetoric that, hey, it's a marriage of strange bedfellows. These people are going to fight and they are going to do this. So we'll just have to wait and see.
But there was a fight at some point at the National Assembly, and all of we saw what happened, and Saraki emerged. Like you rightly pointed out, what will happen at the end of the day? Because we know that there are some key figures there who are saying, "I must be president." Who will be vice? Oh, I can't be vice, and all of those.
And the rhetorical question is, do we have a strong and viral opposition as it stands today?
I haven't seen it.
And that shouldn't be, out of personal
That question
vendetta.
is not rhetorical.
Yeah.
We don't.
So above the masthead, still on the Nigerian Tribune, assets of top 10 Nigerian banks surge to record 219.46 trillion naira in 9 months. That's good news there. Job loss looms as Apapa Port barge operations decline. OBJ laments failure of Onyo Dam to generate power 48 years after. This is also following his own botched plan to shore up our electricity. Talk about the $16 billion that was invested into that infrastructure. But as Buhari said, former President Buhari said, where is the power? So let's move to Blueprint newspaper.
Yeah.
Presidency replies Jonathan, Soyinka others on Rivers emergency rule. Tinubu prioritized Nigeria's interest over political expediency. Yes, very expedient. But Etoma, bandits killed 10 security personnel in Zamfara ambush. When are we going to hear the last?
It is sad that it's something we are getting used to. Nobody should get used to something like that. But it's happening so often in Nigeria that Nigerians are beginning to grow a tough skin about stories like that. They killed 20 people. Okay, last week they killed 35. It's really worrisome.
One death.
Why do we have these men in uniforms that are carrying guns?
That's right.
How come we've not been able to take care of this particular problem? So it is not banditry.
That's right.
It might be something more than that.
Veronica, if you look at above the masthead, in the last story there, farmers seek adherence to NIMET's predictions to avert food crisis. Remember one of our guests who always say, happy foodful year.
Yes.
So now that we're getting the price of good, foods coming down little by little, and so happy to tell you that pint of beans is now hovering between 5,000, 6,000 and below. So that's good news for you there. You like beans a lot.
I do, especially when we use it for akara or moi moi. I love it.
Take us that kitchen.
but now talking about NIMET, it's important that we bring the message home to the farmers and that they can easily understand the message that NIMET is passing across, so that they can know when to plant and when to harvest and what to do for every period or the seasons, because we know that climate is changing. And so whichever way NIMET can get this information across to the farmers as quickly as possible so they can act alongside, because the climate has changed. It's no longer what we used to know.
That's right.
And so the farmers need to key into the changing times so we can have food on our table.
Most definitely. Platform Times is next. 90% of Nigerian land untitled in 140 years. $300 billion dollars lost. That's according to federal government. Interesting development. Above the masthead, IGP Egbetokun warns officers against unlawful prolonged detention. Court orders MTN to pay 840 million naira for trademark infringements. Imagine that happening, way back as 2014 up until now. And that trademark, I think it's web something. So they've asked MTN to pay that company for using that trademark without their approval. That's 840 million. That's way too much. Now, SDP presidential candidate rules out coalition talks. We just said it. Now, this is the party that has just welcomed former governor of Kaduna State, El-Rufai, not so El-Rufai, but then they are saying, we are not looking at this mega party.
It's interesting.
Ibrahim, let me tell you, these are the intrigues that you find in a situation like this. We are hearing it from SDP now. We'll hear it from another group very soon. And then it will look as if the merger is not going to happen. And before you know it, the merger happens. It is the same dance. We have seen it before.
That's right.
And it's playing the same tune. And we have seen the same dance going on.
And that tune can change at any point.
Veronica, this is a very sad story here on the nameplate of the Platform newspaper. A policeman shoots officer's wife, injures 2 others in Calabar. I guess it's due to, I don't know, it's a mental issue. The guy was supposed to drop the firearm, just to return the firearm after his own shift. But he just went berserk and started shooting sporadically, killing a former wife of a retired officer.
It's a sad tale. I saw that story yesterday, and it goes to show that a lot of people are dealing with so much, but we also need to, agencies like the police need to begin to examine and talk about matters of mental health, because these people see a lot on the street. They encounter different people, and some persons do not have the capacity to handle some of these issues. So it's important that organizations like that begin to take talks around mental health seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Punch newspaper is next. Very interesting story here. Naira for crude. Marketers fear price hike as federal government suspends sale to Dangote. Ipman slams depot owners for stockpiling products. Federal government, Dangote resumed talks today. We do not want to, we're already making progress. We don't want to get back to the issue
of a trade war. It's trade war. It started with pricing, and now it's gone a little bit deeper.
That's right.
Dangote wants to buy crude in Naira, simple. So
and sell cheaply
and
for
sell
us
cheaply
Nigerians.
to the people.
The Guardian newspaper is next. Drug shortages, uncertainty squeeze HIV and AIDS, TB clinics nationwide. US aid withdrawal, talking about the US aid withdrawal, concerns over constitutionality of suspension of tenured office holders in Rivers. We'll talk about that in the course of our conversation. And Bakare Ezekwesili profile solutions to Nigeria's leadership crisis. This Nigeria is next. Alarming level of out-of-school children worry experts. Over 20 million estimated educationists urge federal government states to establish more schools as way out of menace. I guess that's quite self-explanatory. SEC vows to fish out capital market violators. Calabar stands still in Unical Honors as Unical Honors Wiki with doctorate degree in law. Consumers' rights group tackles multi-choice over discriminatory pricing against Nigerian subscribers. Very, very quick thoughts from you there, Veronica, before we go to our last paper.
Well, like it's always a concerning thing when we talk about all of these issues. We hope that a solution is found at the end of the day.
And then we want pay as you go. The more we subscribe, the let's subscribe and then let's enjoy our subscription. Not that when we don't have power supply, everything fizzles away into the air. Now let's get right to the last paper. Nation Sport Alive, Operation Crush Zimbabwe. We crushed Rwanda. Remember, I said it here on Friday. I said I'm a patriot, and you were wondering how I got to know so much about Super Eagles, just like you also like Super Eagles. But Shell bans visitors, journalists from Eagles camp, demands maximum concentration from players. Team trains behind closed doors. Yes.
Look, anything Mr. Coach wants to do, let him do. Those boys are winning matches. For any football team, when you're winning matches, you are the beautiful bride.
Veronica, how happy were you when we crushed Rwanda on their own soil?
No, I watched that match, and it was quite interesting to see that we won that match. We showed ourselves quickly before the first half ended. We got the 2 goals and ensured that we defended those 2 goals and held it on till the end of the match and did not allow Rwanda any space.
That's right.
But then it's funny that they changed their coach before the game, ahead of the game, yet they did not get
Rwanda.
Yes, talking about Rwanda, and they did not get that result. So it was, I'm sure they'll be asking themselves what really is the issue. But for most Nigerians, it is to see that Nigeria qualifies for the World Cup.
That's right.
And for me, it's beyond qualification. It's about we winning at the end
Bringing
of the day.
home the trophy.
It's been a long time.
That's right. That's
so yes, qualify, go for the World Cup and all of it, but then let us get this medal back home. At least it is something that a lot of Nigerians will be happy to see.
Isn't it intriguing that, always meeting with Rwanda, we've never won them. It's either we play draw or one way or the other, but it was surprising that we got 2
of course.
comfortable 2.
It was comfortable initially, but afterwards they now started, mounting a lot of pressure at our defense and all of that.
That's in the second half.
Yes,
they
and then we saw
me some jitters there.
Victor Osimhen, showing
the guy is
he did
awesome.
a lot. Yeah,
awesome.
He did a lot. You must give it to him anytime, any day.
Interesting. So Liverpool won't pay £55 million for Lookman. Come on, pay our guys this money now. You just have to pay him, even way higher, because we do.
Is he
so
worth
well.
the price? Will be the question.
He's worth it. He's worth it. Look, man, he's a fantastic
no, Ibrahim, you can't sit here and say he's worth it. You know, you are not the
coach.
You are not the one paying the money.
Because you need to count the cost. I recall we had this conversation one time, and we were talking about what value are you bringing to the table. Is that it's the same amount that they would place on you. So if they feel that he's not worth the price, when you look at it, look at his age, you look at everything, okay, if we buy him, how long will he be able to play for? How active will he be on the pitch? So if they are not getting all of this, they might feel, you know what, let's keep our money.
I get that. ROI is very, very important. It's return on investment.
Of course.
I can't place my money on you and then you're not giving me what I want.
Especially age-wise, and I'm looking at you that, okay, can you last that long on the pitch? If I bring you on board first half into the second half and then you're giving me the results at the end of the day, if not...
Sometimes when you talk about this money, you wonder why you didn't foray into football.
Right. Unfortunately, it's too late.
Start chasing the ball around the...
No, it's not too late.
Money.
It's not too late. You can start a football team for girls.
No, for him now.
Oh, you mean for Ibrahim?
Yeah, because he was just speaking his mind that he wished he had gone into football. Like,
one of our presenters here, he will always say, let me just mention the name, me, and he say, my son must play football. If he says he's not playing football, I will change it for him. Juventus.
There's a lot of money there.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Juventus must, may end Osimhen's pursuit. New coach prefers Vlahovic. Also above here, close to the masthead, we have Arsenal, Liverpool get boost in Isiaq pursuit. Ramsdale to leave Southampton. And then we have Eagles to get record bonus. Okay, so we're still talking about the World Cup. Messi enjoys pool party with wife, international rap. But so if you look at that, at least all play and no work would probably make our own almighty Messi
a dull boy,
a weak man on the pitch.
For me, I think it will be Juventus's loss if they end up not taking Osimhen. Osimhen, after the last match, he showed character.
That's right.
He showed that guy is a hard worker, and it's as if he never gets tired. Anybody would want to have somebody like that, and he knows where to throw the ball to find the post. So if Juventus says, hey, he's asking for too much, I think it's their loss.
Isn't necessarily their loss. I think that it's about sometimes because you know what you bring into the table. Some people just want to be ambitious with their demands.
Okay, so they ask for a little bit more.
Yeah, ask for a little bit more than necessary. So I think that sometime that's what plays out when it comes to Osimhen. Some persons might be advising him, you know what, guy, you are more than this. You are hot.
All right, then, because of our time, Ballon d'Or and injustice rivalry. But then we'll definitely leave it here. Let's allow Nigerians to grab copies and enjoy it, update themselves as we've actually done here. Just stay with us on TVC Breakfast. Veronica, over to you.
Thank you, Ibrahim, for bringing us up to speed with what the papers are saying. But coming up on